G'day everybody! Welcome back to another night of VCS action, and once again it is the Aussie takeover of the VCS. Our good friend Yulway is not here, but instead we have me every day and my good friend Vinnie. How are you feeling tonight, man?
I'm feeling alright. A little bit bummed I wasn't able to catch the first game of PCS before VCS got underway, but production.
Yeah, exactly. Shockingly enough, there is a region with worse production than the VCS. Somehow. Obviously, but now the more interesting region has started, and I know you disagree with that, but you're here, so you can't...
More interesting.
Yeah, first three letters. But we do actually have a really interesting series to start us off tonight. Cerberus taking on EVS is I think it's going to be a super fun series, which is great, obviously. But it's also super important for both teams' playoff runs, because they're competing for the same spot, essentially.
Both teams are fighting for that last spot in playoffs, where the first three are taken by Garm, Flash, and Secret.
Yep.
Not in that order. I think Secret's ahead of Flash, but
I think leaderboard wise, it is that order, but end of season, who knows?
Yeah. But yeah, whoever wins this should be taking that fourth spot in playoffs with their head-to-head.
Yep.
At this stage, we still have half a season to go, roughly.
We also have DBL in the mix for that. Obviously, can't have three teams in a series, but I think whoever wins this one, it very quickly becomes a two-horse race between the winner of this and DBL. I think it's going to be hard to recover for whoever loses.
DBL only has two series wins.
Yeah, but I think they're still good.
Fair, but they're assuming they lose to Garm later today.
It's probably a bit too late for them to start their run.
Which is the more likely thing than them getting the upset. They'll be behind two series from the fourth spot.
Yeah, you're right. For some reason I had it in my head that they'd won three series, which would actually put them in spinning distance. But no, it is only two. So yeah, I think this one is almost deciding fourth spot playoffs. Yeah.
It's all right. But, I mean, before coming into this, I had in my head that this was the fight for fifth and sixth. DBL's doing worse than I remember.
Same. DBL. I know we shouldn't dwell on DBL. They're playing in our second series tonight, but DBL is not a 2-win team. They are a decent team for the VCS.
They don't feel like they should be, no.
Yeah, they upgraded from last split. Last split, they were let down in the top lane by Husmed, and he's looked pretty good this split. I've been actually pretty impressed. But we won't dwell on DBL. We can chat about them before they play against Garm. We do have Cerberus taking on EVS, to be very clear. And this one is... I think they play to each other's style quite a bit. So we could actually have some very explosive games, depending on who lights up on the day.
Yeah, but it is EVS. And EVS is relatively slow for by VCS standards. So that we should be expecting a somewhat of a slower game from them. And Cerberus, I don't know, Cerberus doesn't seem particularly explosive, but they're not really a slow team either.
Yeah.
So should be interesting. I expect the series to be more on the slower side, with one team being not particularly either way, and one team being slow. So I guess we'll see what happens. Yeah. I expect a lot of focus from the junglers to go to bot lane, because that seems to be where a lot of the better carries are.
And we are straight into champion select here. Oh, yeah. So let us switch over to that to see what will unfold on the Rift. Something to note as well is Parquet going up against his old team. Was on Cerberus last split, and now obviously has gone across to EVOS, so it might be a little bit of a grudge match.
Could be indeed. And straight away we're seeing the targeted ban towards TH, formerly Hero, with the Vladimir ban.
Yep. It makes sense. He's had some very good performances.
He's basically 1v9'd on that champion before, and Cerberus does not want that getting in the way of their chance to overtake EVOS. And we're going to see the Senna hit the bench, which I like to see because fasting Senna.
It's pretty strong.
It's really strong, and it's a strategy that I'm not a huge fan of watching.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I like inventive things in the bot lane, but I don't particularly like the whole AD carry not farming stuff. This is a very interesting set of bans here from EVOS. You know how you were saying that they don't really want to play quickly? Yeah, kind of looks like it.
Yeah, they're knocking off most of the early game junglers from Zhuhao.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much the only one Zhuhao plays, particularly the Rek'Sai.
I imagine if they want to go fast, they'll probably look towards the Lee Sin and someone's going to get his Jarvan, which he's looked really strong on this season.
Yeah, EVOS often lives and dies by the Sorn. So him going on to Jarvan, who has been his best champion this split by far, he's now had one or two off games on it. But overall, he's been absolutely dominant on that. And something to note as well, Cerberus had first pick. They picked Misfortune with Aphelios available. And Ornn. Available. I think EVOS might get Aphelios
Ornn. That's very likely to happen, actually, considering Cerberus first picked MF.
What is this Trundle doing? Is this locked in? If
Trundle?
It's locked in. It's not bad against Ornn, but
Trundle's quite good against Ornn because the extra stats Ornn gets means extra stats for Trundle.
True, but I still feel like Trundle exists to kind of like hard counter things like Sejuani and Olaf. I'm not sure he's strong enough on his own merit yet to come back into the meta.
I don't think he's an amazing pick either, but when you're this many jungle bans in, maybe you're looking into it.
Yeah, that's true. Also, a pick I really like from Cerberus. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You could have gone for Olaf, but the Trundle does help reduce the tankiness of the Ornn. So.
You don't really want to pick Olaf into Jarvan. That is countering yourself. So I'm fine with the Trundle pick. I really like the Thresh pick because I think EVOS now will go towards his Ezreal rather than the Aphelios because you can't get the Aphelios Thresh. I think that's really good. Also, just while we're watching this second round of bans, something to look at. You'll notice you're earning bad draft points in the chat, and if you have 1,500 of them, there's actually a little feature where you can kind of directly ask us a question, and if we're not in game, we'll do our best to answer them. It's just a little cool thing you can do if you want to interact with us. We'd really appreciate it. But yeah, once we're in game, we probably won't look at chat, but before then, go right ahead. As Kennen and Cassiopeia have been removed now. Kennen is interesting, because I don't think you care if a Kennen goes into your Ornn. Like, yeah, Ornn will lose lane to that, but who cares?
Yeah, I think part of it is just if they want to pivot Ornn into mid lane.
Sure.
I don't really know, honestly. We see a lot of mid lane focus coming out from the bans of Cerberus, just trying to make Parquet uncomfortable, and
I'd love to see a Yuumi pick here.
I wouldn't.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm trying to be the Yule way because I know neither of us have the Yule way like mindset of like, oh, why aren't they picking Soraka? Why aren't they picking?
From a strategic point, yeah, Yuumi would be a good pick, but also so is the Braum.
Yeah, that's true. I like the Braum. And
Ezreal Braum's reasonably strong combo. And you still have the option to pick like a Soraka on the next round.
Yeah, I don't think they will. If they pick the Soraka, they'd be It'd be all in on Parquet to do damage, and I don't really think that's a good option.
I mean, Div Kid.
I do mean Div Kid.
Unless we're saying Soraka bot lane.
Yeah, no, I do mean Div Kid.
Ezreal mid.
No, I definitely do mean Div Kid. Thanks for catching me. The Braum pick is also incentivized because you are against an MF. I do think the Braum was a good pick.
Yeah. It also does sort of reduce the Silas pick, which we've seen seen played a bit yesterday, and means they can't take the Ornn for themselves. And we're seeing the Zoe picked up as the mid laner, and the Aatrox essentially, which is fine. It's sort of a blind pick. You're picking two.
Okay, that's an Irelia. Parquet has shown an affinity for this champion. I don't like her.
I wouldn't.
I was loving EVOS's draft up until then.
I wouldn't mind the pick if they do a swap here and put Irelia into the Aatrox. I think that's a better matchup for the Irelia. And
probably.
I
think she does fine into either, honestly. I don't think Zoe can really bully her early.
Yeah.
It's not fun. It's never fun playing melee into ranged, but I think she'll be fine. She should never really have threat of dying to a Trundle gank. So I do think that's okay. The other thing to take note is that's an all AD team for EVOS, so the scaling's a little bit scuffed. Like, the champions actually scale pretty well. Irelia's scaling in her current balance state is actually pretty bad, even though she's traditionally a good scaler, but they just build armor.
But that leaves them open to the strongest burst mage in the game, which is Ornn.
Yeah, I mean, true.
But you're right, there is a lack of magic damage, which against the relatively tanky team comp that is possessed by Cerberus with the Aatrox and Trundle and Thresh, you get decent. You can itemize quite easily into it, and you should be all right. I think the scaling in this game, despite that, still does slightly favor EVOS. But again, Trundle will scale as well as Ornn, alongside the Ornn. Zoe can always pick off Ezreal if she can land the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. And yeah, we will see what happens.
Yeah,
the Rift.
That we do. The shopkeeper gets that kink out of his back. And the thing is, we are talking... Obviously, we have been talking about the fact that it is all AD damage. Regardless of that, it is still a very, very good scaling comp. Ezreal does a lot of damage, particularly in the mid-game on 2 items. He has multiple items that can get upgraded by Ornn. He builds Trinity Force. He can also build Frozen Fist, or a lot of things. That's pretty good. And obviously Ornn makes you scale. It doesn't matter what your team comp is. You add an Ornn to it, and you probably scale pretty well.
Yeah, that is true. You're definitely going to get value out of the Ornn somewhere along the line with these comps.
Yep.
You're going to see the double upgrade to the Trinity Force most likely. Though, getting the upgrade, if we see a Mountain Rift come along, getting an Iceborne Gauntlet onto Div Kid will just be a lot of armor.
I actually think if there's a Mountain Rift and EVOS can get it, it's game over. Because they won't die.
It would be very hard for them to
they would be imagine the front line of Ornn, Jarvan, and Braum, and if you finally take 3 hours to chunk through that, you've got to get onto an Ezreal.
And all that time, you have an Irelia who is reasonably tanky in her own right.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to kill your carries. So you're not going to have a good time.
Yeah.
Mountain Rift comes the way of EVOS.
Yeah, and it's not even just the soul. Even just the individual Drakes will actually get a heap of value. Yeah. So, EVOS, I think, would be very happy to see a Mountain Rift, but so far it is just the Infernal, so we don't know yet.
Yeah, so we're seeing the Infernal and the pressure from that Cerberus's bot lane is able to get in the early levels allows them to sort of figure out Sorn's path and get him really low and interrupt his flow, causing him to sort of take the long way around the Grand Wall to get back into farming his wolves, which should delay him a little bit, but not really be too impactful beyond tracking where he's going to be in the future. So they'll know he's heading topside, and LL will be able to play safe. As for Zhuhao, he's just going to be farming up on this Trundle for really quickly, really healthily, as Trundle does. The passive you get so much sustain out of. And he's going straight into that. He's going to forego a few Krugs to go into that and grab the Scuttle Crab. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Very quiet early on.
Good bot lane control from the side of Cerberus.
Which makes sense.
Just has
it's an
to
MF.
Survive on.
Which is a horrible thing to say. Ooh, where did that come from?
I'm going to assume a trouble bubble.
It must have just been a bubble hitting, as hopefully we get a replay, as Yado has just gotten a solo kill that should absolutely never happen. That's quite bad. If this Irelia goes badly, this game turns into a 4v5 very quickly.
Yeah, if Irelia can't manage to punish, and
here we are. So he's amongst his minions. There's no trouble. He goes in, and yeah, he just gets bubbled.
Yeah, the pickup on the whatever it's called, Protobelt.
Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous.
And that just helped clear the minion wave, which I think Parker didn't actually take into account when they dashed in. Means the trouble bubble was just point blank, nothing to interrupt it.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a little bit of Zoe magic. Parquet a little bit unlucky to be seeing his opponent get a proto belt at 4 minutes. Not great, but still, this is like I was really digging the EVOS draft up until this Irelia pick. The Irelia pick isn't awful. Like Irelia's fine. It's just that you didn't need the Irelia. He could just be on a safe mage.
Yeah. If Irelia had survived until...
Oh, he's in some trouble here. The pillar's down. He's already used the Flawless Duet, but he flashes away under tower and he's okay.
If the Irelia had survived till 6 without any issues, you would have been able to set up kill threat onto the Zoe with a gank. But now you're set behind the early Sork Shoes means you're just going to take a lot of damage from Yado now. It's going to be rough being Parquet. You can already see the CS lead is almost doubling. The Zoe almost has doubled the Irelia CS. And
not great. It's a bad situation.
There's your 1,000 gold lead. It's all in the mid lane.
Yep, and Jarvan is coming up top. The Ornhorn will be blown. The wings come out. He flashes towards the enemy tower here. That might not have been the best decision unless he wants to just try and kill Sorn to make it even. And he might with the healing. He gets that. He gets the boost of movement speed. And LL will kill the enemy jungler. And this is all going wrong for EVOS.
Oh no, that's disaster. And they can see that the jungler's top side, they just take the dragon, but they don't even lose the kill top. Healing was disgusting.
Yep.
And turns out you don't even need Soraka in this game. You just need Aatrox.
I feel like that wasn't a play that needed to be forced. But here we see the replay as the Ornhorn gets blown, doesn't hit anything. At all. Doesn't hit either brittle procs. The knockup wasn't important. The brittle was. Sorn just needs to get the hell out of here. He's just standing in one place, wiggling on the spot, and goes down, and then the healing is far, far too much.
I mean, great flash from LL, obviously.
Yeah, LL played it amazingly.
Expecting the flash to come, towards his own tower, but LL apparently sees that, I can turn this, and gets a kill. And there you go. Aatrox got a kill. Parquet, that doesn't reduce magic damage anymore.
Yeah, it was pretty busted when it did. This is why I just don't think this Irelia pick. Oh, he's gonna get ignited under
Nope.
tower, and he
Nope.
won't die, but he will be forced back again. This
Ugh.
Irelia pick is going horrifically wrong, and I have to say it again. Maybe I sound like a bit of a broken record, but you could have just picked a mage. You didn't need to pick a playmaker.
Yeah. If
And
you really
I'm
wanted to
scared
sort
of
of,
Parquet's champion pool because he's picked this Irelia quite a few times, where it's been like, dude, just play a mage.
yeah. I know Cassio and Oriana and Syndra were all banned, so you're sort of scraping the barrel. But LeBlanc's open. If
Rise
you
was
want
open.
the assassin, Rise was open. Yeah. What?
Rise would have been fantastic here. Play straight into the scaling. Like I would
Yeah.
have loved the Rise pick.
You're definitely not hurting if you pick a Rise. That's for sure. And you're clearly hurting by picking this Irelia. Uh,
They picked
about the
into the
best.
matchup as well.
Yeah, about the best thing you can say that comes from it is the 20 CS lead hasn't really grown anymore. It's still around 20 CS
Yeah, I mean that's true. It's
despite being pushed out of lane a couple of extra times. And at level 7 you now have the chance to get kills if you
do
find
you?
a
You
gank.
have an Irelia with Merc boots. It doesn't do any
If a
damage.
gank comes down, but then again, we saw the gank go top lane.
Yeah.
Um,
It's tricky. This is not, 10.4 where Jarvan does a lot of damage with the Immolate either. I feel like EVOS is definitely on the back foot. They're not dead yet. Um, there's definitely still a chance. Their bot lane will outscale.
it's a
Ornn will be
yeah,
Ornn, but
it's
it's not a good early game.
it's a 2,000 gold lead, which at 10 minutes is hefty. But again, yeah, as you said, the scaling will eventually come in if they don't roll over and die or pick terrible fights. Um, but ew, no, okay,
Oh,
we're not going
there's
to
a
see
hook,
anything
but
but.
no.
Um, and it's just a matter of can Cerberus keep the snowball going? Can they push out, push EVOS out of the game before those Ornn items really come in and bring them back? Before Ezreal's able to, because there's a 10 CS lead in the bot lane, which is not really enough to in the scaling differential from Ezreal MF. So
Yep.
and so all the lead is in the top and mid lane.
Yeah, that's true. Um, the bot lane is doing a very good job just going even. I think the Cerberus bot lane knows that they shouldn't be playing super aggressive because I don't think Zhu Hao is going to look in their direction at all.
Mm.
So, yeah, this Ezreal will get a chance to scale, which is good. But still very, very worried. I'm just... the one thing, though, because we are talking about this AD issue, who's going to build the armor?
On Cerberus,
Yeah. Trundle
Zhu
will?
Hao and LL.
Yeah,
And
but will the Aatrox build a huge amount of
Thresh.
armor? It is an Aatrox. Like I
You'll
can't.
build a GA. You'll build.
He's not going to be going like a
Probably
dead
not
man's
that much
plate, but
more
there's a
than
bit of
that.
a fight here in the bot lane. Glacial Fissure is
Oh.
used. This is a 3v. Oh, never mind. The TPs are here. Good knock up from the Ornn. This should be one easy kill. Never mind. LL arrives. Ron OP goes down. It's a good start for EVOS, but it's all going wrong. The bullet time does so much damage, and that's already two of EVOS dead. Ooh, and the flash away from the Paddle Star manages to get them out. And they won't find anything more, but they will get the bot lane tower. And it's all going right for Cerberus. And I don't think anyone's sneaking into the underworld today.
And it looked really well, and it looked very good for EVOS at first. They got the teleports in early. They managed to pick up the kill onto Ron OP, but they weren't able to convert onto the Misfortune.
Yep.
They weren't able to get any of the actual damage onto the damage dealers, despite the Cataclysm. And Then, but when LL arrives, it just completely turned around, and then you actually got to see the gold lead that Cerberus had acquired through the solo lanes.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. The one beacon of hope here for EVOS is that the kill did go directly onto Ezreal, and I will apologise for any bird noises you hear. A bird did hurt himself earlier today, so he's allowed to sit on my shoulder for tonight.
Oh,
he's fine.
Good.
He's fine. He just chipped a nail.
Oh,
if you do hear any little, if you do hear any little squawks.
So we've seen the rotation from the bot lane, and here, we're going into a replay.
Yep, this is. There's a lot to look into here. This was a good start. But,
and we can see that the Lantern from Thresh was able to pull Artemis out of the Cataclysm, which meant he was able to save his flash for the whatever the actual
Flawless Duet.
No,
Flawless Duet's the E. You mean Vanguard's Edge?
Vanguard's Edge. There we are.
Play-by-play caster. The one thing I am smart about is some ability names.
Yeah, indeed. I know every ability, but I only know them as QW.
Yeah. I think that's most League of Legends players will be able to go like, oh yeah, no, that's, Mordekai's is E. Or what's it called? I already said what it's called.
Big hand thing.
I already said what it's called. Mordekai's is E.
Yeah. Or a big hand thing that comes out of the ground.
Grabby boy. LL pops the ult, going in here, looking for a potential solo kill onto Hero, but can't find it. The Ornn is still very tanky.
And
this is falling apart for EVOS. The House of Cards is gone.
Really set themselves up poorly. They immediately rotated Div Kid and B into the mid lane to set up sort of the standard 1-3-1 sort of style where you have your 80 carry just clearing waves mid, but that's not what Cerberus are doing. Cerberus are just rotating their bot lane up to top, and then Parquet can't do anything to defend that tower.
Yep.
Which just gives them a free tower and the free Rift Tower. Free Shirley. And EVOS looking to do something mid, maybe. I'm not sure they know what they're doing.
I don't think they have any agency at the moment. They have to just try and hope that the game slows down enough that potentially they can scale into something. The unfortunate thing here is we did get the Ocean Rift, so none of the juicy Mountain Souls for them. But yeah, and this is Cerberus already with 2. I don't think the scaling's going to be fast enough that EVOS is really standing a chance to fend the Soul off. And Ocean Soul, it doesn't matter what your team comp is. That's Exodia. You win.
It's very strong. You're looking at at basically you're needing an Elder Drake to come back from that. Or map rotations, which EVOS does not seem to have in spades at the moment.
Yep, and Shirley will be summoned up here in the mid lane. So far, every objective going to Cerberus. We're 1 kill away from the perfect game. Comes the charge, this will be a free mid lane tower. Absolutely nothing EVOS can do. They should get a charge on the inner as well. Bang!
Ooh, no, they
managed
to get the hit in. Stop that happening. That's small victories. We take those.
Yeah, at this point, we are looking for whatever we can get.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I tipped Cerberus. Just saying.
I don't know.
I have so much faith in this Cerberus roster. I really do. So I'm glad. Yeah. I'm happy to see them winning this one. I'd like to see EVOS fight back because this should be closer. There should not be 5k gold down at 17 minutes. But
I think I went EVOS.
Once again, the play-by-play beating the.
I did go 2-1, so they're allowed this one.
True. I think I went 2-1 as well.
But I don't remember.
Find out. Through the magic of having 2 monitors, I can both watch the game and see who Vinnie picked. Vinnie, yeah, you picked Cerberus.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, you had the same pick as me. So.
Okay. Never mind then. I'm happy. I'm all on board the Cerberus hype train. And as I say that, they're starting up the dragon.
Yeah, and I mean, this if they get this, it's actually really important. Sorry. I mean, it is still important. I actually thought it was EVOS taking it. I misread the names. It was more important for EVOS, but it's really important regardless, as that is now Ocean Soul Point.
Yes.
We need, you have to fight over every dragon now.
And
this can't let Ocean Soul
puts the game on a 5-minute clock.
Yeah.
In 5 minutes, the Ocean Soul is up. EVOS has to respond to it. Make a trade that's somehow worth it. Like,
there's nothing worth Ocean Soul. Baron is. I would happily trade Baron for Ocean Soul 100% of the time.
I would be okay if from this position they were able to bring the gold up to even and get an inhibitor or something. But
I don't know if that's going to happen. Using the stopwatch
it would have to be
not a good stopwatch or a flash. He used absolutely everything, and he was 100% dead. So I question the resource allocation there, but in the end, it was just a good catch. Another kill here for Cerberus as they continue to grow this lead. And EVOS, you've got 4 minutes to assemble the best items you possibly can, and then see if you can stay in this game for 5 minutes after that.
Well, the plus side for EVOS is they should be hitting their double Trinity Force spike very shortly.
That's true. That Ezreal is about to be very strong.
Power, which is a lot of extra power. Unfortunately for them, MF is close to her Infinity Edge, and Ornn hasn't completed a single item.
That's really bad.
Can't decide what he's building.
Yeah, the fact that he's had to go Bramble Vest in this matchup is really bad. You don't normally need to go Bramble Vest against Adrian. He's just not. It's not like you're against a Fiora. So this is a very bad situation for Hero, to say the least, or TH. But as you said, they will almost certainly be the double Trinity Force, and Div Kid
has just finished his son.
Okay, so there you go. That's good. Div Kid is the shining light here. Oh, Sorn, I don't know if they necessarily wanted that. They don't. Obviously, we have perfect vision and know that they absolutely did want it. Risky, but nothing happens. So the one way they win the next Ocean Soul fight is Div Kid popping off, which he can do. Div Kid pops off.
Yeah, if Div Kid can pop off, or Parquet can just completely eliminate Artemis before the fight begins.
Yeah.
And we're going to need to see Hero get that last bit of experience to hit level 13 and actually upgrade one of these Trinity Forces. Because otherwise he's not really doing much.
Yeah. So far this Ornn has had
all the extra gold they can get.
Yeah, this Ornn has had basically zero impact so far, which is definitely not what we want. But yeah, Cerberus needs to EVOS, their best hope is to try and get really good vision control around this dragon, get a pick onto Artemis, Yado, or Zhuhao, and then just force Cerberus into the position where they say, fine, we'll do it at the next dragon. You get another couple minutes. EVOS is essentially playing a game of, we can just get a couple minutes, if we can get a couple minutes. And eventually, if they get enough couple minutes, they'll scale.
And if you're Cerberus, what you could easily do is just sort of try and bait EVOS into trying for the dragon while you then rotate and take Baron. Because that way they're getting one dragon, you're getting a Baron.
LL
you can do a lot with it.
Could be in some trouble, gets knocked up, hasn't gotten over the wall. Look, there he is with the swoosh. And he'll fly away.
Yes. As I was saying, you can possibly try and bait the EVOS into focusing heavily on the dragon and then rotating, take Baron for yourself, use Baron to break open the base, and then come the next dragon, they can't do it. They'll be too busy fighting off super minions.
Yeah, that's the theory.
That slows down the game, but it gives less chance, I think, for EVOS to have that pop-off fight for Div Kid. But of course, that requires baiting and switching
and a lot of things to go right.
Thinking. It requires thinking.
Yeah, not necessarily the VCS's strong suit, and particularly this game, not looking like EVOS's strong suit.
Well, EVOS isn't the one who has to think in this case.
True.
They just get to go, ooh, dragon,
True.
and then
True.
lose.
Speaking of the dragon, it's alive.
Oh,
Ocean Soul is available, and no one is exposing themselves from Cerberus to getting picked. So far, doing exactly what they need to do. The dragon is being taken, and that's Ocean Soul. GG, go next.
yeah, there's very little EVOS can do from this point.
Yep.
You hold on and try and take Elder.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing, right? You can flip the Elder, but you don't win team fights anymore. Particularly, you're playing with an Ezreal. What is Ezreal doing to Ocean Soul?
Yeah, the you're kind of hurting without the big burst that a mage from the mid lane would bring, which helps sort of cover Ocean Soul because you can't heal when you're dead. Which there's your counter. Turns out killing the opponent is the best counter to their stats. But yeah, with an Ezreal who's just sort of looking to poke his damage in over time almost, you've got a really strong counter in the Ocean Soul.
Yep.
You just
Yeah, I just don't really see how EVOS can potentially win this one. It has to be mistake on mistake on mistake from EVOS, and it's just very, very difficult.
Yeah.
I think they should have fought that dragon.
They definitely needed to.
I'm always in the camp of like them winning that fight at Dragon was like a 2% chance, right? But you didn't have a 97% chance to win the game, right? Like you had a 0% chance. If you win that fight, maybe you have a 1% chance. So take it. Don't just lie down and die. I hate this attitude from teams.
And it is a case of, yeah, you have a 2% or even a 5%. You say you have a 5% chance to win that.
Yeah.
Now you have 1% chance to win fights.
Yeah, you don't. So it's not like things are going to get better.
It's gonna probably get worse from here. I mean, you do get your on scaling, so Ray, but at this point, that might be too little, too late. And yeah, Cerberus, very commanding position. EVOS I think just play it out, discuss your tactics for next game, and if you're lucky, you get a dragon. And if you're lucky, you get an Elder and can turn it around off that. But
yeah, it's a super, super slim chance. I almost think there's the option for Cerberus to just never even go towards the Elder, just keep control around it, but never actually start it, because don't risk the smite steal. They don't need Elder to win this game. It would make it faster, but they don't need it.
No, absolutely not. They just need to keep the pressure up in the side lanes. They can't match LL at this point.
Oh, God.
They can barely even force him out. Oh, they might.
Oh, they might get a catch here. This is a lot of damage onto Ron OP. This should be the easy kill onto Thresh. He flashes away. The Stone Plate doesn't keep him alive, though. Now Artemis in some trouble, but the healing is so immense. The MF will not die. There's no bullet time to clean up the back half of this fight. Sorn does go down now, and now it's a 4v4. And EVOS is on the run, and it's like Cerberus hasn't taken damage. Parquet detonates. And this is Ocean Soul. Ooh, the flash pillar. But no, they can't catch on to B as he flashes himself.
It starts so well, but you see the power of the Ocean Drake. You see the power of the gold lead, and they get Ron OP, but he's up or he's back up, and now everyone's going to get that Baron buff because
this is
EVOS cannot contest anymore.
Yeah, and this is why they had to fight for the Drake rather than trying to take these fights later on. You were never winning fights anymore. We saw there, that was such a good start. They had Parquet diving straight onto Artemis. Artemis was so pressured, but he didn't take damage because he just healed.
And he healed through everything. Right, Yado and DivKid both smack each other with their skill shot. DivKid has to completely back away. Yado goes straight back to full health.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, Artemis is literally unkillable. With that Bloodline, the Overheal, and the Ocean Soul, that MF is never dying. Everything's going right here. The two divers found Artemis, but he's on 3/4 health.
Exactly. That in a world where they were even, clean, easy fight for EVS. But
Oh, hero there. Tried to charge away and went straight into the tip of that wall as well. Thankfully, it didn't matter.
It's like when you're running away on Bard and you try and go through a wall, but you just get a pixel. And you're like, oh, guess I'll die then.
Ute. I'd love to see a Bard. I think Bard is actually a VCS stuff. He can be so aggressive. Beep Slap does a lot of damage.
It does. Bard is...
Give me some Palette going for those flash meep slaps.
Oh, we see a
flank. They're doing something here. Oh, he missed the... Oh, no, actually, that was really clever. Zhu Hao actually clutched that. He used his pillar to make him miss the headbutt. But they do manage to get a kill. It's 1-for-1 so far, but Cerberus is just on full health here. EVOS on the run, and the chunks come in. That's another one for Yado, and they're going to chase them in here. This will be game, and Cerberus takes game one in a dominant fashion. Yado picking up the triple kill as they close this one out. A dominating performance. Yeah, see you guys. I mean, this is good for Yado. This is his old team. Oh no, sorry, that's Parquet, never mind. Really bad for Parquet, it's his old team. This is really bad for Parquet. Just flip what I said. But yeah, that is game, and it was not close.
Yes, just complete domination from Cerberus. There was nothing, basically nothing EVOS did went right.
It didn't stick.
The Irelia pick was a disaster. That first gank from Sorn backfired completely.
Just all went wrong, and
it's a disaster.
Yeah. And, I mean, look, again, I've got to think that things go differently if they have a stable mage in the mid lane, so Zoe can't get off to such a good start. I don't want to put all the blame on that, because it's unreasonable, but that is, I think, a large part of it. I don't want to see that Irelia again. It didn't look good. It looked really bad.
It might have been slightly easier for EVOS if they had picked up that Aphelios.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe they would have had a bit more.
I think DivKid played fine though.
But yeah, DivKid wasn't the problem. It was just Sorn. Like Sorn got set so far behind by that failed gank. Parquet did nothing with the Irelia.
So we do have to ask ourselves a question of who gets the MVP. I think there's two candidates for Cerberus, two solo laners, but Yado
was really good.
Getting a solo kill, all that. I'm leaning towards him.
I honestly kind of want to lean towards LA.
Yeah?
Applied so much pressure in the side lanes. He got that solo kill in the 1v2. When EVOS made that play bot, he turned the fight around.
You make a strong case, and I'm agreeing with you. I find myself agreeing with you. So I think we'll lock in LL. We're happy with that. I think LL. But Yado as well, big shout out to him. I mean, all of Cerberus had a very good game. The bot lane didn't do much, but they didn't need to do much. And they still had some very good MF ults.
Zhu Hao completely controlled the map.
It was fantastic from all 5 of their players. Very, very well done. We're going to have to see if EVOS can bounce back in Game 2 or if we're going to be having a very fast first series. But we'll be seeing that in about 8-ish minutes. Once again, I've been Everyday. With me has been Vinnie. If you go look below the stream, there's a bunch of fun stuff you can click on down there to be part of the community or support us and stuff. We'll see you guys in just a little bit. See you then. Welcome back, everybody, to Game 2 of Cerberus taking on EVOS. You're watching the Aussie takeover of the unofficial VCS English broadcast. We're happy to have you here. I, as always, am Everyday, and with me, as a bit of a treat, is Vinnie. How are we feeling after Game 1? Can EVOS get back into this one?
I think so. I think you can write off that game and say, stuff happens. It happens. You have bad games.
Yeah, it's true.
It's best of 3. It's best of 3. You have 2 more chances to turn it around and smack up and find the wins you need. Yeah. So I think EVOS is definitely not out of the. They just need to not have major mistakes in the early game.
Yep.
Not throw away the mid lane priority with the Irelia pick.
Or at least, if you're going to pick the Irelia, make sure it's a better matchup.
Yeah.
Because they picked into that.
They picked into the Zoe. And then
Didn't go well.
they knew the matchups. They could have swapped it into the Aatrox. Maybe that would have gone better. They could have, but that was also a last pick. They could have picked just about anything else.
Much. And before we continue with the analysis, don't worry, we will continue. That's why we have you here. I do want to remind everybody, you'll notice you're accruing channel points down there. You can do a lot of fun things. You can use emotes, highlight your message and stuff. But what you can also do is if you have 1,500 of those bad draft points, you can ask us a question directly. And if we see it, if we're in analyst or that kind of thing, we will always notice it. But if we're not, and see when will your wave return from the war from Vinnie, who is on this cast. He's coming back for second series. I know you want to go watch PCS, you bloody traitor, as we're into Champion Select.
Okay.
To explain, Your Way has exams on, so everyone make sure you're wishing him luck. They're pretty important, but he's a very smart boy, so I'm sure he'll be just fine. Now in the second draft of tonight.
Anyway, we see more or less the same bands coming out from the teams. Syndra, Renekton, Rek'Sai, Vladimir. So far, much the same, but we'll see. We'll see if anything interesting comes out. Nope, still the Elise. So I think it'll be much the same. EVOS will probably look to lock in maybe the Thelios first pick if it's not banned here.
Yeah.
Thelios or Ornn. I don't think Cerberus is scared of the Ornn particularly.
It's interesting. It's interesting because do you need to first pick the Aphelios when they've shown they value the MF over it? Or do you first pick Ornn? Because I think last game was an aberration for Ornn. That was not indicative of Ornn's strength. You could also first pick Soraka. We are on 10.3.
Or you can first pick MF again.
Alright, well they take away the MF. It is at least a takeaway. But
that's true, but that, again, does leave open your sort of Ornn J4.
Yeah. Okay, J4 being picked up. That makes sense, actually. I don't mind the J4 pick to take it away from Sorn. The Thresh is strange.
Taking the Thresh
signals they want Aphelios.
I like the Thresh pick because that will stop the Thresh count, the Thresh Lantern just completely undoing the J4 ult, which we saw happen a couple of times last game.
It's true, but now you do potentially give up the Ornn Braum rotation, which would be really strong for EVOS.
Or Blitzcrank.
Or they're just going to go straight into a Blitzcrank. I question picking that this early. I guess they don't want to reveal too much. They just want to lock away the Hook City. I feel like this means we can't see... Oh no, I mean we can. They can still pick the Ornn. It's not like Braum's going to get counterpicked into them. So I just want to see the Ornn pick. I mean, I want to see some Soraka. Like, where is she?
Well, we're going to see Mordekaiser.
Ooh, okay, I'll settle. I'll settle.
Our rotation from EVOS is very strange.
It is. It's incredibly strange.
And we're going to see Ornn picked up from Cerberus now, but picking Blitzcrank seems weird when there's Lucian open, there's Ezreal open, there's multiple mobile AD carries open to just dodge the hook. And Mordekaiser being a blind pick is I don't know. I wouldn't particularly pick it personally, but I mean, it's not the worst idea.
I don't
Except
mind
for
this.
the fact Ornn was open.
Yeah, I don't understand picking the Mordekaiser when Ornn was there, and it just gets straight answered. So far, Cerberus has a very strong team comp. Nidalee being banned out, getting rid of the Thorn special, makes a lot of sense to me.
And
The Aphelios. Yep, just 2 strong Thorn champs that are left, pushing him down. Makes
And EVOS scared of the Zoe pickup. But here I think Cerberus just pick your AD carry, picking an Ezreal.
Ezreal's good here. Yeah, I'd prefer Ezreal to Lucian, if I'm honest.
If you go Lucian, you can sort of match the... Okay, that's not what I would have gone at all.
Artemis is a good Xayah. I don't mind the Xayah. I think Xayah is a pretty good tier 2 ADC. And they didn't have access to the tier 1 ones. So yeah, I'm fine with that.
I don't mind Xayah so much. I still would have preferred Ezreal or Lucian to for the lane pressure into the MF, and you basically nullify the Blitzcrank. You keep your E up.
Yeah.
Both those champions, you should never be hit.
That's very true. I think this is interesting because you're not obviously the constant VCS analyst. You're coming in with a global thought, but this is the VCS where Xayah is the best AD carry in the game. So they will pick her, and yeah. Xayah can obviously nullify the clutch hooks as well by pressing R.
But you're trading an ultimate for Q.
It's not good. It's not good, but at least it's not, you know, Jinx.
It
just gets hooked. Kai'Sa can be it. But it will be EVOS rounding out with the Lee Sin, who is one of the better junglers left for Thorn, and the Cassiopeia, which I'm really happy to see. Parquet just on a fairly safe mage, will be answered by the Orianna. So overall, there's no really explosive lanes here. It's actually going to be a pretty controlled game, I feel. At least until the 10-minute mark or so, which is when the VCS players say, righto, let's go for team fights.
And you would think a controlled style would be favouring EVOS, but EVOS has the explosive factor to their comp with the Blitzcrank pick.
Yeah, it's true.
So, and of course, Blitzcrank is essentially the Caitlyn of supports. Extremely strong early game, useless to nothing in the mid game, and then extremely strong again in the late game. Because when it's late game, you take one pick, you land one hook, and you win the game off of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's always been Blitzcrank, right? He's always been... he's useless until he wins you the game.
Pretty much.
In, after 15 minutes, he'll just be like, oh, well, who cares about Blitzcrank? He doesn't... Oh, and then he hooked our AD carry, and we literally just lose. That's cool.
So if Blitzcrank can land good picks onto the Orianna or the Xayah, very good news for EVOS. And Mordekaiser could just sit around and take Ornn out of the game, or out of the team fight, or I don't really know. Both of these team comps seem relatively straightforward. Cerberus seems a bit more standard, but that's mostly because the Blitzcrank just throws everything off.
Yeah, Cerberus is definitely putting a lot of eggs in the Artemis basket. If this isn't a good Xayah performance, then they really struggle. Orianna just doesn't do enough on her own. Obviously, Orianna's a very strong champion. I really like seeing her be played, and we've got some good Oriannas in the VCS. But
and then we also have the standard VCS. So Orianna's always a bit of a interesting pick in Vietnam.
I'm glad to see she's getting played more. I think she's actually really good into Cassiopeia. Kind of controller in the fight.
She's absolutely fine. It's just...
At least it's not Parquet playing her.
At least it just happens too often.
At least it's not Parquet playing her. Because Parquet...
Yeah,
I don't know if you watched that game. He had a game where he pressed Orianna ult about 15 times and shockwaved about 3 people total. which is
Oof.
dreadful. And some of them were not hard shockwaves. I was hitting those shockwaves and he wasn't.
Yeah.
And that says a lot because I don't even play mid lane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm happy to see it on the Yardo side. Then, so it's interesting because I don't know if there's any huge breakpoints in the early game unless there is some weird shenanigans in the bot lane around Blitzcrank. But EVOS is once again staring, well, I mean, not once again, they had it last game, but now they're staring down the barrel of an Ornn, and it's like, can we play slow against this? Or are we just going to get Ornned?
It's really hard to tell which way how these teams should be playing it out. You have a strong, every comp is a strong pit comp with a Blitzcrank in it. When did Blitzcrank blow his flash?
Ask me questions, I don't have the...
When did that happen?
How?
What did I miss? What
Also,
did I
he's
miss?
not running Hex Flash.
No, that's up to personal choice. I think. I mean,
He must have fat fingered it. He must have.
I guess.
I mean, I don't.
No.
I'm pretty sure they haven't seen an enemy champion before they went into lane. So there's no invades or anything.
That feels so bad.
The one saving grace when you do fat finger your flash is the enemy team doesn't know you did it.
Yeah, that's true.
According to chat, he literally did it in the summoners in the fountain.
Oof. Okay.
So, because of the way they do production, you don't see them in the fountain. Apparently, literally as soon as we saw it was already on cooldown.
Oh dear.
So that's not good. At least, I don't think it'll matter because it'll be up before it's relevant, I think.
It will be unless Ron OP finds something here, which
I don't think he'll go for
not
that.
super not like that. He won't.
Yeah. It's still an MF, right? Like, I don't think this Thresh Xayah lane wants to be screwing with an MF too much, but Zhuhao is here, but just says, no opportunity for anything. I'm just going to cop a recall.
I think Zhuhao is...
This could be a 3v3. There is the flay. They go for the hook. B really wishes he had that flash right about now as he's taking a lot of damage, but the aftershock keeps him very healthy. Sorn dashes back to DivKid, and in the end, it's just one heal, or two heals, one on each side, being blown.
And an ignite from B.
Very well played there by Ron OP. He looked very good.
Yeah. All in all, nothing... everyone walks away a little bit bruised, but no one's really hurting.
Or now in the mid lane.
That basically just sums it up. We're not going to see a lot of anything unless the junglers get themselves involved. And looks like the junglers are going to involve themselves with each other.
Yeah, Sorn he was a level up until that big bucket of KFC went down. But now it was dead even, so he's not going to go for the fight. And top lane is just ping-ponging the waves back and forth. Hero could go for a little bit of a freeze here. It looks like he will. Proud of him.
Yeah, this looks like they're aware of this, and Zhuhao's coming to help break.
Yeah, he's also just immediate. He queued the wave, so he did. It's gonna crash. But I mean, in the end, Hero, whether or maybe he's just a bit of a savant, knew that the jungler was coming, so it was time to break the freeze anyway.
Well, he would have seen the jungler as soon as Zhuhao appeared from Tribrush, and Ron.
Oh, Sorn is in a lot of trouble here as Ron goes over the wall. Zhuhao doesn't flash to get to confirm the knock-up, so Sorn lives to farm another day.
Yeah,
bold play.
Looking for Mr. Tumnus with that hook, because that went to Narnia.
Parquet, he might be looking for something in a wardrobe as Yardo dashes away. Oh, he's going to go forward then, potentially trying to get the kill, but it's not going to work out. Parquet in a lot of trouble, but B playing the zone beast as Hero as well comes in to make sure nobody goes down. And we've got a lot of close calls already, but we're still without a first blood.
What? Can someone die? Like
This is where
at
we
this
need that.
point-
This is where we need that clip. Just somebody hit somebody. But I mean, there's been a lot of hits, so just no kills.
There's been a lot of hits, just no knockout punches. And well, we can see that EVOS has managed to actually pick up a decent amount of a lead through the top jungle and farm.
Ooh.
And
A lot of damage here onto this Blitzcrank. B does now have his flash, but it's too late. He goes down, and Artemis will be the first one to give us what we want and claim that first blood.
And the gold is set up back to even, as the first blood helps counterbalance the CS leads in top jungle. And I'm a little shocked at how these have come about, because it didn't look like Zhuhao was too far behind Sorn at any stage in terms of making his way around the map. But
Sorn is kind of like Levi Light. As we just watch this replay, I'll get back to it. This is just a hook into a flay and nothing B can really do. Yep. But as I was saying, Sorn is kind of like Levi Jr. in that Levi has about 3 or 4 camps that they spawn in secret places around the map and no one else can see them. That's how he has so much farm. He cheats. Sorn doesn't have 3 or 4, but he's got 1 or 2. He's Levi Light.
He just starts the game with 3 CS, with 3 camps.
Exactly. So he's always got a bit of a farm lead, and you kind of think about it's like, I don't know how he's got that. I think that both junglers have been pathing well, but nah, Sorn, he's actually got wraiths. They're just in the chickens, so he gets 2 farm for each chicken.
And
very strong. And here comes the dive. Yep, but the lantern.
Good heads up from Ron OP. Able to just make sure there's easy out for Artemis. And wasted time, mostly. Which opens up the blue buff seal for Yado and Zhuhao, which they are going to be aware of as Parquet sees them, and will maybe try and get some damage on the way out.
Yeah, does get the poison down. Oh, he uses the ult straight into the Oriana's bum. Doesn't do anything at all. Zhuhao? Oh, no, it wasn't actually Zhuhao. It was Hero flashing forward to try and make a play there, but doesn't find anything.
And
oof.
I thought EVOS was supposed to be the more controlled team, but they are just trying. They are reaching. They felt bad about that last game because they're trying their hardest to get anything at this point. And they don't need to. Like, they just need to keep the advantages going in top jungle. They just maybe keep
B getting hooked there. The Blitzcrank hook doesn't land, but DivKid dealing a lot of damage. There is that blade caller. There is still a bullet time here, and it's used. Forces the Xayah ult as well.
Yes.
Ult for ult.
So that was actually. Oh, okay. B landed.
Oh, there's a hook down in the bot lane here, and Ron OP's in a lot of trouble. DivKid flashing forward, should be able to get the struts, and does not land the last auto attack. Thresh will slink back to the Shadow Isles nice and safely.
So, and
that's bad. DivKid flashed.
That is bad, and that one I won't criticize because that felt like it should have been a kill.
It did.
But yeah, EVOS are just for the most part, like, they're reaching for these to try and blow open the advantages, but they don't need to. They're still ahead in gold. They are the only player that's down in CS is Parquet, and that's
okay.
And that's fine. Like DivKid, like, you've got massive advantage top and jungle. You're a little bit behind lane. You just
Artemis could be in some trouble here. He does not have the Feather Storm. The hook is still available, and he pulls that melee minion and says, "Get over here, my 30 gold. Don't want the champion. I want you."
Yeah.
Feel like he could have hooked Ron OP there very easily.
Yeah, I definitely the Thresh was probably the better target, but you get the bloodlust going. You're like, oh, I want that bird for dinner.
Don't listen, Rakan. He doesn't mean it. No, I mean, yeah, I think that B so far is not impressing me on this Blitzcrank at all.
No,
He's hit like a couple of hooks, but they have obviously, since they have no kills, it hasn't turned into anything, so it really hasn't justified the pick so far.
I've seen one
B's
Blitzcrank hook
normally
land,
better
and
than this.
that did not. Yeah, I've seen one hook actually land from the Blitzcrank, and it didn't
It was
get the
close.
and that was the almost kill on Toronto P. Yano's able to force out Pake though, using the shockwave
Yeah, that's very, very
and
valuable.
building
This
up
is-
building up even more of a gold, building up an actual gold lead with the plate damage down.
Yep. And Thorn should be able to get this Rift Herald pretty much uncontested, so that's a good little boon. Again, the lonely lane that is super, super struggling here for EVOS is the mid lane. The other lanes are doing very, very well. I like this build out of the Mordekaiser is going into the Nashes. Has already gone into the Nashes even, which means that if he is to Death Realm a tank, he's actually got the threat of killing them. If you're going to be Death Realming squishies, you really don't want that Nashes because it doesn't do anything. But if you're going to be Death Realming a Jarvan or a J4, you do want the Nashes, and I think I said a Jarvan or a J4.
Yes, you did.
Jarvan or an Ornn. Thanks for just like letting me sit in that. No, Jarvan or Ornn.
I wanted to let you finish your point.
Yeah. It is actually
Before
really
I
good.
completely nullified it by saying you said the same champion twice.
Well, I mean, it's still true.
Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah. So
we see
Dragon is up here. We will be going to either a mountain or a cloud drift. So the two considered less impactful.
And I mean, the rifts themselves are quite impactful, I find. But yeah, we'll see. The souls, bit hit and miss.
They're less impactful than Infernal and Ocean, but they are still very nice. I think they'd really love a Mountain Soul.
Cerberus probably would like a Mountain Soul, which is
Thorn gets interrupted, but the bullet time is huge. Forces out two immediate stopwatches. They should be able to follow up on this, but no, the shockwave is huge, and it makes it a 1-for-1 in the bot lane. But up in the top side, LL is dead.
Yeah, and there's your Nash's Tooth coming into succession.
I'd like to see a replay. I wonder if he Death Realmed him after the Ornhorn, because I'm pretty sure the Ram doesn't transcend dimension. I want to see how this. No, he just did it beforehand. Okay, didn't matter. Ram didn't even get there. That was really well done. He interrupted the TP and just killed him.
Yep, that
took the tower. That's huge. EVOS is back in control.
And yeah, EVOS comes ahead with about 1,000 gold, 1,300 gold lead, and pretty much all of that is on Hero.
Yep.
Which
living up to his name.
It's not the worst place for it. he's done well before in the carry position. And on this Mordekaiser, he'll be strong enough to just walk in, take Yado completely out of the fight, and kill him on his own. We see the pickup of the Proto Belt, which I don't super agree with after getting a Nash.
Yeah, I don't. It feels like he's built for two different things. I feel like he should have just committed to the Haunting Guys or the Rylai's.
I think you just take the
Liandry's even.
Liandry's straight. I think you just take the Liandry's from there. 20% CDR in items is usually enough for Mordekaiser, I found.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
he is very far ahead though, so he can almost afford to have this little deviation. Proto Belt's a very cheap item. He has a kill. He has a 40 CS lead. I think he'll still be fine.
5 plates worth of gold.
Yeah, exactly. I think he'll be fine. I do agree that I don't fully agree with the itemization here. Proto Belt is good if you're trying to blow up squishies in the Death Realm, and as we touched on earlier, Nash's is looking very, very good if you're trying to Death Realm tanks. But I with his lead, I don't think it's particularly terrible.
Yeah, I don't think it will be too much of an impact on the game. It's just the Haunting guys or the Rylais would probably have been a better choice.
Okay.
But
LL, a little bit caught. Is he in the Death Realm? We're seeing this Nashers get even more value. The Proto Belt actually did something there. LL, it could be in a bit of trouble. There's the Obliterate. But I don't think he has enough to finish him off. But he should have free control of this tower. And he's absolutely dominating this top lane.
Yeah, LL is not having a good time
No.
into this pick. And I think we see why it was picked when it was. Just
Vietnam is making Ornn look balanced.
They really are.
It's not having a good series.
It is not having a good time. Oh. And yeah, so with this massive hole in the top lane for Cerberus, they're gonna have to really rely on getting these drakes. Because that's their win condition right now. And getting that extra getting those mountain drakes will do nice things.
It'll do a lot. I mean, if they get a mountain soul, it doesn't matter how fed this Mordekaiser is. He's not killing Ornn in the Death Realm. Ornn takes like at least 5 minutes to kill with a mountain. Totally real.
So at this point, your next item for hero probably needs to be a void staff straight away.
Yeah, particularly with the Abyssal Mask already in.
So
I think the pen would be good. Parquet goes for the catch here onto Yado. Gets shockwaved. And Juhao is close. But the good flash over the wall. Didn't need to ult there, but oh well, it's not that long on cooldown.
I guess you don't really need the void stuff because you get magic penetration in your kit anyway. So yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah, you should be right. I don't know. We'll see. EVS gonna grab that extra second Rift Herald.
Gotta say, I don't like what Parquet just did. He got chunked down, had to flash, and then he took a wave before he reset, despite the fact that there was only 20 seconds on Drake. I think he had to instantly reset so they could fight this. Oh no, he's got teleport. I take it back. It's fine. And oh, there's the Blitzcrank hook! The Orianna has to flash immediately. Ornhorn's been blown, but I don't think anyone's really in position to try and contest this. They're going over. Can we get a big Death Realm? Juhao is in the Death Realm. It's going to be a 50-50, but Xayah does secure it. That's a third Drake here. Juhao should be the sacrificial lamb, and he is, but it's 1 kill for Soul Point. I take that if I'm Cerberus.
But Cerberus EVS did drop the Rift Herald.
Oh, and Hero died.
Oh. So 1 for 1. You get a dragon, but you lose 2 towers mid lane.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to get that charge onto the inhib.
They might lose it. They'll lose the inhib. I don't think they'll get the inhib itself. They'll get the tower, though. I think, overall, you're pretty happy with that trade if you're EVS, now that you got all of those structures.
Yeah,
how did Hero die?
I think he was caught recall. Probably.
Should be a replay of it. Oh, he just walks up to 2 in a bush. Okay. Yeah, that'll kill you.
Yeah, something about 2 birds in a bush.
Yeah, something like that. A bird and a robot. A bird and a robot. I'm sure that's a thing. He did a lot of damage, though. He hit 2 spells, and he did about half of Yado's bloody health.
Yeah.
So. He's a big boy. He's a large lad.
But, get some shutdown gold onto Yado. You're happy with that, right?
Yeah. It's good. No, I mean, it is.
It's worth the 3 towers.
Not worth the 3 towers.
So, you've got... So... And LL was able to pick up a tower's worth of gold back, so...
It's very lucky it was 3 towers and not 2, or there'd be a lot of bad jokes. But regardless, it was 3.
God, yes.
It was 3. I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, I would not have gone.
Let's just move through it. Power through. Power through
it. Hero is really far ahead.
Yeah, he is. He's very, very far ahead.
Despite that kill. But now Artemis is actually very well set up himself with the Essence Reaver and Z. 2 kills,
Should be
bit
mid
of a
lane tower.
20 CS lead.
Ooh, bullet time coming out. This won't actually be mid lane tower because the minions are gone. That was really, I like that from DivKid. I like MFs that aren't scared of using their ult to clear waves.
And I mean, you build the 20% CDR from the Essence Reaver. It's not.
You shouldn't be scared.
It's not a long cooldown after that item breakpoint. But we still see EVOS has major control, especially in the.
Hero just takes that tower. Nothing LL can do.
Nothing LL can do. If Hero wanted, he could have probably death round him and found a
maybe
kill.
Maybe. I think Ornn's a bit too tanky to die in the duration point. I think he needs to get like a bit of a trade with him in the living realm and then death realm him. And I think he was just like, I'm just gonna take the tower. I don't need to do anything else. EVOS is doing really well pulling the map apart. Their macro is really nice this game. Crisp.
EVOS has basically complete control over the side lanes. Parquet, I mean, it's Cassiopeia. It's really hard to 1v1 a Cassio at the best of times. Mordekaiser's really far ahead. LL can't do anything. Nobody on Cerberus really.
I really need to flame Yado for a second. He's built a Morellonomicon second.
Yeah.
Where is the healing on EVOS? And where is your Ornn item?
Yeah.
There is no upgradable items for Ornn. I hate when teams do this. You have an Ornn on your team. Build an Infinity Edge.
I mean, the Infinity Edge is obviously coming.
Yeah, but why? When you have an Ornn, surely it's better than a rapid fire cannon. Sorn is caught out, but goes golden to dodge the ram. Should have a W, but no, it doesn't mean anything at all. B now also going golden. Can they find him? No, he flashes away. So it's 1 kill for an inner turret. So in the end, EVOS still splitting this map open very, very nicely.
Is able to use that priority to help set up the Dragon Pit.
That's true.
And
that's a big deal.
But Hero's sneaking in try, so he might be able to.
Because he's not spotted.
Do everything. Especially
if he could kill Zhu Hao. Oh no, now he's spotted. They'll collapse on him. He can just death realm Zhu Hao though. This was such a huge mistake by Zhu Hao. Why did you go over? They'll get the 1-for-1 here, but the jungler's dead.
Yeah, that was a terrible decision.
They're still gonna go for it. Sorn's on the way. EVOS, you need to delay.
I could understand if one of the solo laners had...
EVOS, you need to delay, but no, the Mountain Soul secured. B is dead. What were they doing?
That hook needed to come out way earlier and not onto the Ornn.
But where was DivKid? He needed to be there. He needed to bullet time them while they were on the dragon, so Sorn had time to get there. That was an easy steal.
Yeah.
Where were they?
For all the praise, we were just giving them rotations. This is
a huge mistake from Zhu Hao. Zhu Hao, with that play, basically said, nah, lads, we don't get Dragon Soul. Because Sorn's already alive. He's running. DivKid's he's clearing a ward!
They even pinged him.
They pinged him! Oh my god, it's such a huge mistake, and that can cost them the game. They're so tanky now.
Yeah, Cerberus is just so much better off now. But and with the double stone plate coming out, that's a lot of effective health on the side of Cerberus. Yeah.
It's so much harder for them to kill. They've still got the lead. The game didn't just end like it did on an Ocean Drake, but I think that was just a massive throw.
But it's only a 2,000 gold lead now, and with all the stats you get from Double Mountain and the Infernal,
and they're gonna get Baron
and the shield.
They've done really good macro, but their objective control is horrible.
Yeah. And then the Ornn items, you're at an effective gold lead for Cerberus.
Yep. There is Zhuhao going in straight onto B, who has been a very weak link this game. He goes down. Bullet Time just does a little bit of tickle damage. Doesn't do much of anything at all. The Orn Horn is blown. Here comes the Ram. Knocks up Div Kid. He's in some trouble. The flash forward to get the knock up here from LL. Doing really, really well. Div Kid is super, super low. He's just trying to deal some damage before he goes down. But there it is. The shutdown. Parquet will be the next one. Good petrifying gaze to at least hold the Forge God back. Hero lurking around, could try and find someone to take into the Death Realm. The knockup does not land, but this should be just a retreat and a Baron for Cerberus. And suddenly Cerberus is looking like they're winning off a very good play by LL in that fight.
Yeah, they roll through that team fight. LL basically 1v1's Div Kid.
Yep.
I think they probably could have gotten more.
Hero in the Death Realm with Yado. Yado just needs to survive. He might even be able to win the 1v1. Parquet's just dead. Hero now stuck at the back of the Baron pit. He goes down, and we had the lovely go-kart of EVOS cruising down the hill, looking like they're going at full speed as Zhuhao does die. And the wheels have come off. They've gone skidding, and they're in two pieces around a tree at the moment, as it's gone very, very badly.
Yeah. Being able to find the kill onto Baron going down, but you lost 3 more kills to that. And it basically means you're not going to lose your base, but it delays the inevitable.
We said in Champion Select, Artemis has pretty big boots this game. He's now 5-0-6, and he's about to have a Molten Edge. The boots are laced.
He's absolutely about to have a Molten Edge. Meanwhile, Yado's going for a Banshee's way.
I don't necessarily mind that. Good against them. But yeah, Yado nearly wins this despite having almost no mana. And then Hero just dies.
But I would rather see him pick up a Rabbit Dance and just get that Orn item.
Yeah, I go with that. Or maybe even an Hourglass. Get the Zhonya's Paradox. I wouldn't hate that. I do think players need to think about Orn items a lot more than they do currently. Which is weird because Orn is obviously one of the strongest champions in the game. Like, you about this.
Yeah.
But now Cerberus fully in the driver's seat. I know the gold totals up the top say they're a little bit behind, but they're not.
They're not.
They are not. They're about 3,000 gold ahead.
Like, the Orn items alone make up for gold
Exactly.
deficit.
Yado is a little bit caught out there, but hits a big shockwave. Makes sure that nothing is coming in on him. Hero does his best. He needs to live up to his name. Sorn has a tag on this Baron. It's very, very low. He's uncontested. Zhuhao is dead. Can Sorn make the miracle happen? No! Yado says no thank you. The Baron is secured by... Oh my god! Baron was stolen by Div Kid! That's actually been picked up here by EVOS. Oh my god! I couldn't even notice that against the flow. And that's actually a win here for EVOS, 2 for 2, but they steal away the Baron.
And now they're just going to try and run up mid lane.
Yeah, this is a good call.
And B,
doesn't quite get it.
It doesn't quite get it. And it's only Artemis really as available to do damage on the side of Cerberus.
Does a lot, though.
And 20 seconds until Elder. And EVOS has the early reset.
Has the worm turned? Has the pancake been flipped?
The worm.
It's a much more even team fight. This Elder fight is much more even than EVOS has any right for it to be. And then the hook onto Zhuhao! That's absolutely disgusting! He does manage to get away, but he's so low! He can't contest! B! He's living up to it! He's on the crank!
Needs one hook.
Hook City, bitch! Hook City, bitch! And they start the Elder. Zhuhao has to go and smite a Gromp. They might have to. He's got a smite in about 10 seconds. It's going down very, very quickly. They have to go in here. They pull Yado. They're going to reset the Drake. This is really, really tense. You have to see something happen. Ron OP throws out the death sentence. Can't find anyone. Parquet is hidden in the pixel brush. Reveals himself to clear a ward. Zhuhao's trying to get a recall. He needs to reset. But they're not going to give them the space. They can't see the dragon at the moment. They can't leave. Elder Dragon wins games. They're just going to go for the catch. But the grounded stops the headbutt on the ram. The miasma comes in absolute clutch here. They do not have the Ornhorn for this fight. Here they come. Sorn takes a lot of damage, but it's down to 6,000 health. This is absolutely huge. Who will come out on top here? The knockup does not go through. LL comes in with the B hook. The dragon has reset. So much damage. Bullet time comes out. Doesn't actually deal very much. That's an Orn with a stone plate, but he has to flash. He's low. EVOS, much healthier at the moment. He has teleport though. He can be and then come back very, very quickly as long as Cerberus can delay. 4,000 health here. You need to go now, Cerberus. You cannot afford to wait. Go! And it's stolen away by Cerberus. They have the Elder Drake here. They'll go forward. Featherstorm doing so much damage. And Cerberus is EVOS is absolutely melting away, as are their chances of winning this game.
Hero for the backdoor?
Yeah, he's got a long way to go.
Yeah, okay, I don't know. Alright, never mind. That was a little bit anticlimactic there. Come on, Hero. You betrayed me. But Zhuhao coming up huge. He was chunked out at the start of that event. He completely chunked out and manages to stick around and come in with the clutch steal. Now they have the Elder Drake.
Gonna walk it down. They just win this.
They walk it down. There's nothing EVOS can
Hero
really do.
Gets blown up. The dragon comes out. No, Ron OP might go down as a sacrificial lamb, but the dragons are soaring, throwing out those big executes, and Cerberus takes a 2-0. Absolutely cracker performance out of them. EVOS, they fought back every way they could. DivKid's actually going pretty huge here, but it's not going to be enough. And Cerberus manages to win 2-0 over EVOS, putting themselves in prime position to get to playoffs. This team was going to be relegated at the end of last split, and now they might be going to playoffs. What a turnaround. What a game.
That was so good from Cerberus. Just, EVOS, what happened? You were doing really well for most of the game, then it just all sort of fell apart around the Baron.
And that was despite the fact that they stole the Baron. They got the steal.
Yeah.
And then it was just hero plays out of the side of EVOS. They had several players do so much. And in the end, individual effort just mattered for everything.
And in the end, it was Zhuhao who just stole the Elder.
Yeah, I mean, it was a 50-50, to be fair.
It was 50-50, but
it was a hard 50-50. He did not have priority over the pit, which definitely makes a difference. And also, it's a 50-50 against the Lee Sin. Lee Sin is kind of 55-45 in 50-50 situations. Because of how his Q works. Yeah, the execute with his Q. So, in the end, maybe not the most insane steal ever, but it was so crucial. Like, I'm at the point where I'm like, does he just get MVP?
Oh, he'll probably get the official one. But
Artemis was really good.
Artemis was really good.
So was Yado. I'm looking down this team. Who was bad? No one.
LL.
No, are you kidding? He got stomped in lane, but in those last crucial team fights, they did not win that without him.
I mean,
he went huge.
He went huge in the fight in the mid lane where he soloed out the MF. But other than that, I do feel like he was mostly along for the ride.
Sure. I mean, I'm not saying we give him MVP, but I think he played well. It's a hard choice for MVP here.
I'm going to give it to Zhuhao because even beyond that steal, there was the control over the dragons, which
Makes a huge
They were
difference.
behind until they had that soul, and then they were even. Then it just sort of went back and forth a little bit until the steal. So got them into the position where they had the soul, where they were winning, and then he won the game for them.
That he did. Yep, I'm happy to lock in Zhuhao there. We have been giving a lot of jungle MVPs, but I'm totally fine with that. Appreciate your junglers. And what a series that ended up being. After game one, I was worried that this might be a bit of a slow night. But my God, it definitely wasn't. That second game was so much fun. Cerberus gets the 2-0. We'll be back in probably about half an hour because it was a 2-0. Probably be a little while. This has been the Aussie takeover of the VCS Unofficial English broadcast. I've been Everyday. With me has been Vinnie. I nearly said your way there, just out of habit, but it's been Vinnie. Your way should be back for the second series, but it was quick, so maybe not. We don't know.
We will see.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
I mean, I'm down with Vinnie sticking around. I love casting with you. So
if he does come back, see you guys event around in the chat and whatnot.
We'll do something. We'll figure it out. Don't you worry. If you go down below the stream, lots of ways to support us, which we'd really appreciate, and also just ways to join our community. Lots of people putting out some very good VCS-focused content. Maybe if you have a read of those, maybe you have a little bit of extra insight on the scene if you needed that for some reason. But we'll be back in a little bit for the second series of tonight, which is DBL taking on GUM, another exciting one. See you guys then.